On a sunny morning, a golden Pop-Tart sat alone on the kitchen counter, irresistible to Mittens, the tuxedo cat. Mittens eyed his prize, crouched low, and readied himself for a heroic leap. With a wiggle and a burst of ambition, he launched, only for his back paw to slip on a glossy catalogue. Instead of glory, Mittens spun sideways, missing the Pop-Tart and landing in the laundry basket. The Pop-Tart remained safe. Mittens, a fluffy heap of defeat, learned a hard lesson in physics. Behind every funny cat fail is a lesson. Physics always wins, no matter how ambitious the leap. Let's talk about projectile motion. This is a core idea in physics that explains how things move through the air, whether it's a baseball, a rocket, or even a leaping cat. By understanding projectile motion, we can predict where an object will land, no matter how wild its flight may seem. When you throw a ball, you give it both speed and direction. That initial push sets everything in motion. Instead of flying straight, the ball follows a curved path through the air, an arc called a parabola. This parabolic curve is the signature of projectile motion, and it's what you see every time something is launched. That's projectile motion in action, the science behind any object that takes flight and follows a curved path back down. Anything that's thrown, shot, or launched into the air, whether it's a ball, a rocket, or a cat, becomes a projectile. Once airborne, the only force acting on it is gravity. We often ignore air resistance to keep things simple, but gravity is always in charge. Think of a baseball soaring after a home run, or a cannonball blasting from a cannon, tracing its own dramatic arc, or even a cat leaping for a Pop-Tart, powered by instinct and physics alike. All of them are projectiles, all following the same rules of motion. When a cat prepares to jump, it crouches and loads up its muscles for a burst of power, and its hind legs deliver the push that launches it into the air, providing the force that determines the path of its leap, sending the cat forward and upward, letting it defy gravity, at least for a moment. The stronger the push, the more energy the cat has to travel farther and higher, reaching for impressive distances and heights, as it traces a graceful arc through the air. But the moment the cat leaves the ground, it breaks its connection to the earth, and gravity takes over, pulling it back down with relentless force, shaping its flight into that familiar curved path. So what does all this physics add up to? A beautiful arc, a real-life demonstration of physics at work. If the calculations are right and all the variables are just so, the cat's brain has to estimate in a split second the distance, the height, and the force needed for the jump. All the ingredients for a perfect landing, a smooth return to solid ground. If the cat uses too much force, overestimating its own power, it overshoots and lands past its target. Too little force, not enough speed, and the cat falls short, missing its goal. We've all seen cats, at home or outside, that leap over fences, sometimes misjudging the distance or crash into a wall. A funny moment, but one that's all about physics. It's not clumsiness or lack of coordination. It's a tiny miscalculation in the physics, a small error in a complicated equation. Every jump is, in a way, a high-stakes experiment, a real-time test of physics principles, always being refined and adjusted with every leap. When the numbers don't add up, when the calculations are off, gravity wins, reminding us that its pull is always present. That's why, even with all their natural talent, the most agile cats, the best jumpers, sometimes miss their mark and fall victim to the laws of physics. Physics is always at work, shaping our world, and whether the cat realizes it or not, it's all just projectile motion in action. Back to Mittens, our feline friend with dreams of soaring through the air. He's got the ambition, the drive, and the inherent cat-like agility. But something went terribly wrong. His real mistake, the critical error that sealed his fate before he even left the ground, was his launch pad. A shaky, unreliable foundation doomed his jump from the start. A successful jump, a beautiful arc of feline grace, needs a stable takeoff, a firm and unyielding base to propel you forward. Like a rocket, poised for its explosive ascent, needs a solid launch platform, a foundation of steel and concrete built to withstand immense force. Mittens' paw slipped, a tiny misstep with enormous consequences. On a catalogue, a glossy, treacherous surface designed for browsing, not for launching, wasting energy, precious momentum lost in the initial push, and sending him sideways. A trajectory gone awry, a dream of flight turning into a comical tumble. Imagine jumping, putting all your effort into a powerful leap, of a skateboard, a moving, unstable platform. You mostly fall, a victim of Newton's laws and your own wobbly start, not fly. The dream of soaring is quickly replaced by the harsh reality of gravity. Cats on slick floors, those seemingly effortless glides across polished surfaces or soft cushions sinking into a fluffy abyss, face the same problem. The laws of physics apply to everyone, even the most graceful of creatures. The power is there, the raw muscle and coiled spring energy. But the surface betrays them. It yields, it slips, it fails to provide the necessary support. The result? A chaotic scramble, a flurry of paws and fur, a desperate attempt to regain control. Instead of a graceful leap, the elegant, controlled flight they envisioned. Uneven force, a misdirected push from the legs, leads to mid-air mayhem, a comical, uncontrolled flailing that defies all laws of feline grace. The jump is doomed, destined for failure from the very start, before it even begins. The initial conditions have already sealed its fate. Next time you see a cat slide off a shiny surface, a moment of unexpected and undignified descent, remember, it's a launchpad failure, a testament to the unforgiving laws of physics. The cat had the desire, the will to succeed, but physics had other plans. The universe, in its cold, uncaring way, had already decided the outcome. Even the best feline athletes can't beat a slippery floor. It's the ultimate equalizer, humbling even the most skilled jumpers. It's a fundamental rule: your launch is only as good as your ground. A simple truth, but one that Mittens learned the hard way. For Mittens, the mission failed at liftoff. A cautionary tale for all aspiring feline astronauts. And that's pure, unadulterated, predictable science. The kind that makes you laugh, even as it teaches you a valuable lesson. Why do cats spin and twist midair after a bad takeoff? It's all about torque, a twisting force. For a clean jump, the push must go through the cat's center of mass. If a paw slips, the force is off-center, creating torque. It's like pushing a toy car from the corner. It spins as it moves. The same happens to cats. A lopsided push sends them spinning. The mid-air flailing is a desperate attempt to regain control. But once torque is applied, stopping the spin is tough. The cat becomes an unwilling gymnast, tumbling through the air. It's not a fancy trick. It's physics in action. Every spectacular cat fail is a lesson in torque. The laws of motion don't care about feline dignity. One bad push and the spin is inevitable. That's why cat fails are so spectacular and so scientific. The center of mass is the balance point of an object. For a cat, it's usually in the torso, between the front and back legs. Cats instinctively know how to adjust their center of mass by moving their bodies. Crouching lowers it, stretching the tail shifts it back. For a perfect leap, the push must go right through this point. If the force is off-center, the cat rotates around its center of mass. It's like lifting a plank from the middle versus one end. Balance matters. When a paw slips, the push misses the center and the dreaded spin begins. The cat pivots around this invisible point, not flailing randomly but rotating with purpose. Even in chaos, physics rules the fall. Understanding center of mass explains every twist and tumble. It's the secret behind every airborne cat fail. Once airborne, a spinning cat faces the law of conservation of angular momentum. If it's spinning, it keeps spinning, unless it can stop itself. Air resistance helps a little, but not much. So, the cat gets creative. It changes shape. Stretching out legs and tail increases its moment of inertia, slowing the spin. It's like an ice skater extending her arms to spin slower. Cats also twist their bodies in opposite directions, the famous righting reflex. This helps them land on their feet, but can't always fix a wild spin. All that frantic movement is an instinctive attempt to stabilize. Sometimes it works, and the cat recovers. Sometimes the spin is too strong, and the landing is a tumble. It's a mid-air battle against physics. Every twist is a calculated move to regain control. But sometimes, physics wins. The landing is the final act and friction takes center stage. Friction lets a cat's paw pads grip the surface for a solid stop. On slick floors, the coefficient of friction is low, paws can't grip, and the cat slides. If the cat is already tumbling, the landing is even messier. Landing off balance means hitting with fur, not pads, no grip, just a slide. Gravity pulls down. Friction tries to hold, but gravity usually wins. That slow, sad slide down a wall. It's low. Friction in action. From launch to landing, every moment is a physics lesson. The entire sequence is science wrapped in fur and chaos. Cat fails are friction fails too. And that's what makes them so entertaining and educational. It's easy to call these cats clumsy, but that's not fair. They're ambitious explorers, pushing the limits of physics. Every failed jump is a complex experiment gone slightly wrong. In a split second, a cat's brain calculates distance, force, and landing. Most of the time, they succeed. What we see online are rare miscalculations. Maybe the surface was slick or a shadow fooled their eyes. Any small error can throw off the whole equation. The cat isn't clumsy. The physics problem was just tough. Instead of failures, see these cats as science teachers. They demonstrate torque, stable launches, and friction, no textbooks needed. Cat fails are physics in action, right in your living room. The laws of motion are always at work, for cats and for us. What do we learn from a cat tumbling into a laundry basket? Science isn't just for labs or distant galaxies. It's everywhere. It's in a dripping faucet, a rolling bike, and every cat leap. Watching cat videos through a physics lens turns entertainment into learning. We start to ask, why did it spin? Why did it slide? What went wrong? Curiosity is the engine of discovery, whether you're Newton or just watching mittens. Everyday moments become puzzles to solve. You don't need a PhD, just curiosity. Next time you see a cat fail, appreciate the science. Laugh at the silliness, but nod to projectile motion, torque, and friction. In every clip, the universe's rules are on display. Science is everywhere, even in cat fails. And that's what makes the world so fascinating. If you want to ruin all your favorite internet videos with science, you found the right place. This channel is on a mission to get monetized in just 10 videos. Subscribe and be one of the founding members of the smartest community on YouTube.